Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli. Watch the greenbacks
tumble. Well, you know, John, you've had less notice than this, right? Everyone all set, cocked, locked, hopefully blissed. Here we go. Here we go. Your dial set correctly to USAPrepares.com. And we're broadcasting 2 hours from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains. If you'd like to call us, we'll pay for the call, 866-582-9933, 866-582-9933. I've got the call screen up on my right side, so I can take your call as soon as I see it. And there's a link to your instructors, all of them on the website, USAPREPARES.com, USAPrepares.com. Converging threats are confronted daily by your instructors. I'm Vincent Finelli. Nate is engineering the broadcast in Minnesota. Captain John Regan's with us. Welcome, Captain John Regan.
Good morning, Vincent.
So I called John Regan a few minutes ago, and I said, hey, happy birthday, John. By the way.
This is not the present I'm looking for.
What better present can I offer you than to be on the air with you today, right? Just a couple minutes ago. Yeah, Ricky Rocket has lost his voice in Grants Pass, Oregon. And so I called Ricky and said, ready to go. I had trouble. I said, oh, okay. I'll give John Regan a call. And so here we are. Hey, John, thanks for being with us today. You know, John, I was thinking, yesterday I was working. It was a beautiful day. What a great day to work on a rototiller. You know, I'm talking about, you know, if you have nothing to do and you like a challenge and, you know, you're bored, I suggest you buy a Troy-built, light-duty, lightweight, disposable Super Bronco rototiller. Okay? It is flimsy and it is, it is the worst rototiller I have ever seen. So if you're interested in contributing to your landfill, if you want a disposable rototiller, if you like challenges of fixing things that you can't get parts for, that's the rototiller for you. Now, maybe maybe this will result in a complaint, but I was on the phone with Troy Built's customer service, and I said, okay, this rototiller it looks like new. It even has the paint on the tines, but it is the crappiest thing I've ever seen. And I said, I need this washer. It's a stepped washer. It has like a bushing built into it, and it broke. It's a hardened washer that broke. I just need this one little piece, and the rototiller will be just as crappy as it was when it was brand new. And this will help it, you know, it'll help it be useful for just a little bit longer. So the customer service person was really helpful, and she wasn't even going to charge me for this. So we spent a lot of time on the phone. I mean, a long time on the phone. And the manuals that they have are not up to date. They've improved this thing to the point where it is so cheap. They get, I think she said that they had 4 calls about this particular model that day. And the day wasn't over. So it's not like they're not getting a lot of complaints about this thing. And it is flimsy as can be. So I'm here to tell you, if you want a light-duty, flimsy, lightweight, disposable, Chinese-made rototiller, you might want to look at the Troy-built Super Bronco with the counter-rotating tines. And the reason I'm telling you this is I'm absolutely livid. We have another Troy-built rototiller that was made in the United States, and it's awesome. Same color, same outward appearance, just this Bronco is just a small one. The other one is called a Troy-built Horse, and it was made in the United States, and it's got a U.S. engine on it. It's heavy duty, and it'll last generations, but not if you take care of it. But I don't believe that this Chinese-made, the latest model, is anywhere near as good. And I want to thank Bill and Hillary Clinton for their assistance in bringing these Chinese products into the United States and destroying our manufacturing base. So if you look, you'll find that a lot of these engines that appear, horizontal shaft engines that are on devices, and even vertical shaft engines that are on devices, you're going to find that a lot of them are made in China. They look like a Briggs & Stratton type. They're even painted to look like Briggs & Stratton. But they're not. They're made in China. So we have, through the efforts of those greedy defectives in government, we have destroyed American engine manufacturing and shipped it over to China, along with a lot of other manufacturing. And I'm outraged. And I'm outraged because I can't even get this lousy washer from Troy-built. And it's a washer that's made just for this product. It's not like you can go to the hardware store and get one. So, to my good friend Joey in Michigan, it's just one more reason why I need to buy a milling lathe. Really, I need to buy a lathe so I can make the parts that I'm not going to be able to get anymore to keep the farm running here in Missouri. And I'm outraged by these government defectives who have caused all of these problems. They have. As a matter of fact, while I'm at it, let's talk about Fram, the oil filter company and the air filter company. So, about 10 years ago, I bought a case of Fram oil filters, and they're painted really nicely. I mean, they're orange and they look like. So I drain the oil out, and I go to put the oil filter back on after the oil is drained for an entire overnight, and the threads don't fit. The threads don't fit what? A Dodge Cummins turbo diesel, one of the most common pickup trucks there is, right? A Dodge. The threads won't fit. So I call up Fram and they go, really? I said, yeah, it's threaded wrong. Well, what Fram did was they shipped the manufacturing from the United States over to China. And instead of having U.S. threads on this engine, they went to metric threads. So the oil filters won't thread on. Now, if you force it, you'll damage the part of the engine where the oil filter mounts. But if you're careful, as I was, I didn't damage it. So Fram said, what do you want? And I said, I'll tell you what I'd really like. I would like another replacement case of oil filters to replace all these other ones. What am I supposed to do with these oil filters that don't fit anything I know about? And you know what? They sent me another case. But that's what they should have done, right? They should have sent me another case. But they sent me old stock. Old stock because those are the ones that had the threads that fit the American engines that they were designed to fit. The new improved model from China didn't fit and didn't work. So then they had all these oil filters that, what do you do with? So that's the high cost of cheap labor. Fram oil filters. And you know what? These Chinese products are really painted nicely. They must have great machines that paint these things because the paint looks great. It's just the quality, the attention to detail is lacking in the rest of the product. John Regan, what do you think?
I don't want to give it away. I've got an article lined up for Monday that
you figure I hit my own buttons and you just don't you only go there. Is that right?
If I even go down that road today,
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Since Vinny's on a roll, let's fire the mayor of Lebanon, Missouri. Let's fire him. His name is Lyle Anderson. Now, here's what happened with Lyle. So I met with Lyle, Mrs. Finelli and I met with Lyle, and we thought, geez, he's a nice senior citizen. And actually, he didn't say, geez, we're sorry we sent the police department. We're sorry we sent the fire department. We're sorry we were disruptive to your expo. Geez, we really think it's a great thing. You teach so many incredible courses in a weekend. We really need that information. No. Not Mayor Lyle Anderson. Nope. Mayor Lyle Anderson and I were on the phone this week. And I called him and I said, we've been missing each other. And he said, well, let's just talk about it now. And I said, all right, how would you like to remedy the situation? He said, we're not going to. I said, okay. How do you feel about your city manager saying that the Constitution of the state of Missouri is irrelevant? Well, people say stupid things. Okay. So we didn't say, we uphold and defend and we've sworn an oath to the Constitution of the United States and the state of Missouri. No, he didn't say that. He said, well, people say stupid things. So I said, so what do you want to do? He said, well, we want your business. He didn't say, hey, Vinny, look, we really appreciate the education you bring. We appreciate you bring people from 6 countries and 44 states here to the middle of nowhere, Lebanon, Missouri. He didn't say that. He said, we appreciate your business. So what I'm saying is he is the CEO of the corporation of the city of Lebanon, and he's interested in corporate profits, and he's interested in revenue, and that's his concern. Well, I told him, all right, well, if there's no remedy, there's no reason for us to have an expo in Lebanon, Missouri. By the way, Mrs. Finelli and I have already gathered up all the things that we bought that we thought we might want to return, and we've returned them already to those merchants and those businesses in Lebanon, and we're not going to Walmart anymore in Lebanon. And as a matter of fact, the city of Lebanon, Missouri is off limits to the Finelli family. We will not be coming back. And as a matter of fact, we're going to call for a national boycott against the city of Lebanon, Missouri. I'll give you the mayor's number, his cell phone number, in just a minute. We'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit guns80.com, guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Hi, John Hubner from Midas Resources. Are you tired of watching your hard-earned assets dwindle away? As government is out of hand and the Federal Reserve is creating in excess of $20 billion a week, are you tired of stockbrokers gambling away your hard-earned money? Is this market a setup for a crash greater than 1987? Too many of today's policies resemble those that led to the collapse of 1929. This is John Hubner, and that was me in 2007. And we all know what happened when the subprime credit bubble burst. By March 2009, the dollar lost 50% of its value. The entire U.S. banking system was on the verge of collapsing. Like all financial problems of the past, is history about to repeat itself? Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129, before it's too late to protect yourself. Will the oncoming catastrophe take all private IRAs, 401ks with it? There is a way to protect your hard-earned assets. Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129.
Hi, this is Steve Sanchez, and based on a recent study, it was found that 57 million Americans had legal issues over the last 12 months, but only 60% of those studied sought out the services of a lawyer. Why? In a nutshell, affordability. Well, my friends at Legal Shield have created a solution that can help you not if, but when you need an attorney. For as little as $17 per month, Legal Shield will provide you unlimited access to qualified attorneys at an accomplished law firm for advice and counsel on legal issues, no matter how serious or trivial. For over 40 years and with 1.4 million families across North America, Legal Shield can help you, the loyal GCN listener. Representatives are standing by now to answer your questions, so call them now at 1-855-340-SAVE. That's 1-855-340-7283, or visit them at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com.
Results will vary from case to case.
Have you ever felt like the United States government knows way too much about your financial affairs? I continue to hear stories about property seizures, frozen bank accounts, confiscation of stocks and bonds. It makes me wonder if the U.S. citizen will ever again have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Unfortunately, with the Drug and Money Laundering Act, the IRS Revenue Ruling 6045 of 1984, and the Trading with the Enemy Act and Franklin D. Roosevelt's Executive Order of 1933, some precious metal holdings are subject to government intervention. For this reason, Midas Resources has prepared a report explaining the boundaries of trading precious metals privately. Whether if you have any intention of trading with Midas Resources or not, I have instructed my representatives to give this report out free. Call for your free copy at 1-800-686-2237. When investing, always proceed with caution. Again, call 1-800-686-2237. Exercise your legal right to trade metals privately. 1-800-686-2237.
So I was meeting with the city manager, and I said, his name is Chris Hurd, H-E-A-R-D, Chris Hurd, in Lebanon, Missouri. And I said, hey, Chris, on those cars, those city cars that you got, it says Lebanon, Missouri, friendly people, friendly place. I said, did you know that? And he said, yeah. So just because they say it doesn't mean they mean it. So we've got an out-of-control government in Lebanon, Missouri, and the phone number for the mayor. Now, this is his cell phone number, so he's available, all the time. 417-664-4396. 417-664-4396. I'll repeat it throughout this broadcast. And if you'd like to call him and say, Mayor, why did you kill the Get Prepared Expo in Lebanon, Missouri? Why doesn't the Constitution matter in the state of Missouri? Why do you feel that you have to push your weight around with your police department and be disruptive to the Get Prepared Expo? Why do your cops think that they can come for free and everyone else has to pay? Who do you guys think you are? Be my guest. 417-664-4396. That's the cell phone number for the mayor of Lebanon, Missouri. And I authorize all of our class here to call him and find out what the heck is going on. And please, if you find out, report it to me. And what they'll tell you, I believe, is something like, well, the YMCA in the same building called and they said that there was a problem with a light, and so we sent the fire truck. Lights and sirens and horns all the way from downtown. And then we sent another fire truck. So we had two fire trucks because the YMCA thought they had a problem. I don't even know if that's true. But what I do know is true is they sent the county cops, the canine guy was there, another cop was there, and they just walked around like they were tough stuff. They strutted around. And to me, they were disruptive. And they found nothing. No one got arrested. No one got fined. Nobody got ticketed. They were cruising around the parking lot looking for license plates. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that nobody likes. And, I said it yesterday. At some point, well, first of all, I believe all these cops are in it together. The blue plague. They stick together. And the good cops, I keep hearing people say, yeah, but they're good cops. Okay. If they're good cops, they need to police themselves and tell the bad cops, hey, look, don't you realize that when the shooting starts, people might miss you and hit me? They're not going to be able to differentiate because we all wear these blue uniforms or these black uniforms, and they're going to treat us all the same, the way the colonists treated the redcoats. You know, redcoats were fair game back then. Don't you alleged good cops, whoever you might be, if there are any, don't you realize that we're gonna look at all of you the same? Actually, we look at you all the same right now. So you need to police yourselves, and you need to root out these bad cops, these thugs who push their weight around and tell us what to do and tase us and shoot our family and bash into the wrong apartments and the wrong houses in the middle of the night with no morals. You have no morals, no scruples, no integrity. We've had it with you thugs. We really have. So you've run us out of Lebanon. Now who's going to suffer? Well, my hairdresser is going to suffer of almost a decade, because I'm not going to see her, because she has her business in Lebanon. I'm not going to the Chinese factory outlet in Lebanon. I'm not going to Aldi in Lebanon. I'm not going anywhere in Lebanon. I'm not going to buy gas there. I'm not going to contribute 1 red cent to the city of Lebanon. Now, are there going to be people who are going to suffer? Well, yeah. And the reason is because the city of Lebanon is being run by a bunch of thugs, and the people are not throwing them out. So if you don't want to throw out your mayor, your city manager, your police chief, your fire chief, if you don't want to do that, then we don't want to come to Lebanon. I'm not kidding. There's plenty of other places to go. So, you know, if there are other events at the Cowan Civic Center, I'm not going there either. And we were the biggest, best thing they had going. And they don't get it. John Regan, when I calm down after these few short commercial announcements, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. We'll be right back. By now, you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
It's time to build your own emergency food stockpile with the industry leader, My Patriot Supply. Once you try them, you'll know why so many Americans like you have made them part of their emergency preparedness plan. Experience the My Patriot Supply difference today with this unbelievable offer. Right now, a 4-week food supply is only $99, and that includes free shipping. That's 50% off the online price. Call 800-274-3070 to claim yours. Limit 2 per caller while supplies last. This offer isn't available online, so you want to make sure and grab this opportunity to get prepared today. 800-274-3070 to get your 4-week food supply for the incredible price of only $99, and it'll be shipped to you completely free. Call 800-274-3070 right now. That's 800-274-3070 to claim yours while supplies last. Don't wait. Call today.
We live in a complicated society. Stressful issues are always popping up. Have you ever been treated unfairly by someone? Have you ever been overcharged for a repair? Have you ever signed a contract or a document worried about identity theft? How many times have you been in those unique situations where you just wanted to call an attorney to find out if you're right or wrong, or what your legal rights are? But every time you think about calling an attorney, what do you think about first? That's right. Who do you call, and how much will it cost? Our friends at Legal Shield have found a solution. With a nationwide network of 6,900 attorneys who average 19 years of experience, Legal Shield's law firms take over 40,000 calls per week helping their members. For less than $20 per month, you can have access to Legal Shield on everything from the trivial to the traumatic. Let Legal Shield stand up for your rights at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com. Or call 855-340-SAVE, 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
It's time to build your own emergency food stockpile with the industry leader, My Patriot Supply. Once you try them, you'll know why so many Americans like you have made them part of their emergency preparedness plan. Experience the My Patriot Supply difference today with this unbelievable offer. Right now, a 4-week food supply is only $99, and that includes free shipping. That's 50% off the online price. Call 800-274-3070 to claim yours. Limit 2 per caller while supplies last. This offer isn't available online, so you want to make sure and grab this opportunity to get prepared today. 800-274-3070 to get your 4-week food supply for the incredible price of only $99, and it'll be shipped to you completely free. Call 800-274-3070 right now. That's 800-274-3070 to claim yours while supplies last. Don't wait. Call today.
So we decided to upgrade the look of our home.
You know, improve the curb appeal.
We decided to add the look of stone to the exterior.
We really like the stacked stone look.
Yeah, but when I checked into the price, it was ridiculous. No way could we afford it.
Then a friend told me about Genstone. Genstone.
Genstone comes in lightweight panels made of polyurethane. They've actually engineered the hassle out of installation. No mortar, no mesh. It was easy. Even I could do it.
We just screwed the panels to the wall and it looks like stone. I mean, it really looks like stone.
Yeah, from the box to the wall in minutes.
We love the look of our home now.
And Genstone is durable, comes with a 25-year warranty, and offers additional R value for insulation.
If you want the look of stone at a price you can afford, call Genstone
at 855-955-STONE.
Trust me, you'll save money.
And you'll love the look.
855-955-STONE. That's 855-955-7866.
Happy birthday, John Regan. This is your 29th anniversary of your 29th birthday. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, but who's counting?
And what better birthday present could you receive than you being number one on Genesis Communications Radio Network right here, right now? Congratulations.
Thank you.
So what do you think about what I said about the mayor of Lebanon, Missouri, the failure to honor their oath of office, you know, to support and defend the Constitution of the state of Missouri? They don't care about it. The city manager said, "Oh, we don't care about the Constitution." Literally, that's what he said. "We don't care about the Constitution. We have our own policies and procedures." That's what he said. Can you imagine that? What do you think? They don't care. Lebanon, Missouri. So if they don't care, my opinion is, why would we want to go back to Lebanon, Missouri, even though they've got a magnificent facility? Underutilized, no question about it. We used it. We probably used that facility as much as the top 5% who have ever used it. Ever. And I guarantee you, we've had more people from more states and more countries than they've ever had there in Lebanon before. And we had more people at our banquet meals than they've ever served before. And they stayed longer. As a matter of fact, the caterers couldn't believe that we had people staying for 3 hours for a meal. It doesn't happen, but it happens with us. So what is your reaction to what these things I said about Lebanon, John Regan?
To me, it's a shame, the way our country's gone. I wish I could say that it's just a recent phenomena, but I really don't know how far it goes back, but I remember when I really was awakened to it. I was sitting there as a captain in the basement of the Pentagon, watching what's going on across the Potomac, and these are our wonderful non-representatives of Congress, that take the same oath of office like I did to protect and defend the Constitution, and they're over there violating it. And that was Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah.
And this was during the second Reagan term. So That's been a few years ago. And, our hope was that, they get to Washington. There's a lot of pressure on them and blackmail and, who knows what to make them, toe the party line. But when you get to the local level, that's where you would expect to have the most control. And if you can't do it there, that's when you have a lot of trouble. And in fact, I was watching for a couple of years a fight go on in my hometown, and the school district there had become really corrupt. And it took a while, but the local people finally managed to get control back from the corrupt people in the school district. But, there's a lot of damage that gets done. And I wish I had, a good answer for you. But it seems like this is now a systemic problem. In fact, if we go back to one of the articles we didn't get to Monday, the first one under the bigger picture, fake forensics. I remember when the FBI was out there, to go after the heavy criminals. And now we find out that for 20 years, the FBI exaggerated hair evidence at every criminal trial in the 80s and 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So even the FBI has been corrupted.
You're absolutely right. And let me tell you what the cops like to do. See, in Springfield, Missouri, we had 7 expos so far. Expo number 1 and 2 was in Springfield, and we thought we'd hire the cops to be there because we had a lot of guns and a lot of ammo, and we thought, well, I guess that's what we should do. Well, if you go to hire an off-duty cop, you just can't walk up to him and say, hey, listen, what are you doing on Saturday and Sunday? Would you like to, earn some extra money? No. You have to go to a lieutenant, and they have this little department set up in the city of Springfield. You have to hire one of theirs at a fixed rate. Okay. It was $25 an hour. I don't know if it's the same or not anymore, but it was $25 an hour years ago. And it doesn't matter who you get. They're all $25 an hour. And you really don't even get to pick who you want. So even if you have a favorite, imagine having a favorite cop. It's hard to imagine that. But if a person did have one, it's unlikely that you'd get your favorite anyway. And it's price fixed. Now, why is it price fixed? Who are these thugs who fix the price? They might say, well, it's only fair, because, we have to price fix it. Well, they don't price fix it at minimum wage. They price fix it at 2.5 times minimum wage, right? Yeah, that's what these guys are worth off duty. So anyway, if you want to have a smoother running event, well, what you do is you hire these price fixed cops, and then things run a little smoother. Now, even with hiring a price fixed cop, the Ozark Empire Fairgrounds call the city cops on us anyway. And they call the Board of Health on us, and they try to get us shut down. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. So if you think that you're going to have an expo, a preparedness expo in a city building, the city government likes to use the other city employees to come get you. They contact the revenue agent, and they go, hey, man, we've got this event's coming up. You can get a license fee of $25 per head or $5 per head or whatever they charge to get you to buy a license. Otherwise, they'll shut you down. And then they charge 29% tax on the venue. This is a community investment development tax. They put all these taxes together, and by the time they're done with you, they have extorted 29% of the cost of the rental of the venue. That's what city governments do. And then they charge for parking. So if you think, why is it that when you go to a ball game, you pay for parking, and then you pay for a ticket, and then you pay 3 times the cost of what a beer would cost, or a soda would cost, or a hot dog would cost, or a pretzel would cost? Why do you do that? Because they've got the police monitoring so you don't bring your own beer, pretzels, potato chips, popcorn to the ball game. They don't want you to do that. They want you to buy it from them. So if you think the city is on your side, think again. I'd submit to you they are not on your side. They are out to steal from you every single way they can. And while they're doing that, they've got the meter maids patrolling, looking for guys who have parked, without putting a quarter or a dollar or whatever it costs to put your money in a meter for the ball game. So they're looking to ticket you and get even more money. They just don't stop. That's why our country's falling down. We don't work together. These guys have divided us. It's like the blue team, the blue plague, and then there's us. Let me give you that phone number. So if you'd like to call the mayor of Lebanon, Missouri, his name is Lyle Anderson. He's a little hard of hearing. He wears some hearing aids, so you might want to speak clearly. 417-664-4396. 417-664-4396. And I authorize you to find out and report back to us live on the air what happened, what you learned, what he said, why they don't honor their oath of office. I'd like to know. And they killed the expo, the biggest and best preparedness expo in the country. And I challenge anybody. You can call us right now and tell us you've been to a better one. I'd like to hear about that. Lebanon. The city government killed it in Lebanon, Missouri. So we're going to have to find another place. It's outside of city government. John Regan, any comments before we get on to other items that you've got? I'm angry.
No, but
I'm angry.
This next article isn't going to help any.
I can't believe it. Okay.
Another one we didn't get to Monday, under the control section, they call it cash out. And this is about an Air Force veteran who saved up over $60,000. And I do have to, question this judgment a little bit because he was heading out to California and that money was to be down payment on a house. So I think we'd have been better off going somewhere else. But he's traveling through Nebraska, gets stopped by one of our, friendly blue plague. And he finds the money, and of course, with civil asset forfeiture, that $60,000 went to the police with no criminal charges whatsoever.
So let me see if I've got this right. $63,530 in cash. The cops steal it. Steal this guy's money. He can't get his money back. He can't put it down in the house. And what'd they say? Where'd you get that money, boy? Where did you get that? Obviously, nobody has $63,530 in cash. Nobody. So they steal his money. The blue plague steals at the muzzle of a gun, handcuffs, tasers, body armor. They steal his his cash at the muzzle of a gun, and he can't get it back. I guess he has to prove that he's not guilty of a crime. That's where we are, right, John?
Actually, you have to prove that your property is not guilty of a crime. It is insane.
How do you do that? How do you do that? John, you're wondering why this guy had $63,530 in cash. Well, I'm here to admit on the air, I bought a house back in the 1970s. And there was something that happened. I don't remember. It's quite a long time ago. But I went to the closing with a briefcase, a small briefcase. And I believe I had just under $30,000 in cash in the briefcase as a down payment for a house. I did. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Hi, my name is Scott Fuchs, teacher and rowing coach for over 14 years. I was sluggish, overweight, on prescription drugs, and only 30-something. Fortunately, I was referred to Dr. Z, and happy to say Dr. Z's all-natural protocols over a consistent course resolved my health issues. I'm in the best shape of my life, and most importantly, on 0 medications.
I'm Dr. Zdanowski, author of Evology, trained as a primary care physician, surgical manipulation under anesthesia, expert in nutrition, diet, weight loss, immune system, and I specialize in chiropractic. My 15 years of professional experience has taught me the 4 keys to vibrant health: a balanced musculoskeletal system, an integrated nervous system, a flowing lymphatic system, and a body filled with over 90 essential nutrients. This has been a secret too long. Actualize your potential, reverse disease. Call me, Dr. Z. 201-945-1177, 201-945-1177, evolyourself.com.
It's time to build your own emergency food stockpile with the industry leader, My Patriot Supply. Once you try them, you'll know why so many Americans like you have made them part of their emergency preparedness plan. Experience the My Patriot Supply difference today with this unbelievable offer. Right now, a 4-week food supply is only $99, and that includes free shipping. That's 50% off the online price. Call 800-274-3070 to claim yours. Limit 2 per caller while supplies last. This offer isn't available online, so you want to make sure and grab this opportunity to get prepared today. 800-274-3070 to get your 4-week food supply for the incredible price of only $99, and it'll be shipped to you completely free. Call 800-274-3070 right now. That's 800-274-3070 to claim yours while supplies last. Don't wait. Call today.
We live in a complicated society. Stressful issues are always popping up. Have you ever been treated unfairly by someone? Have you ever been overcharged for a repair? Have you ever signed a contract or a document? Worried about identity theft? How many times have you been in those unique situations where you just wanted to call an attorney to find out if you're right or wrong, or what your legal rights are? But every time you think about calling an attorney, what do you think about first? That's right. Who do you call, and how much will it cost? Our friends at Legal Shield have found a solution. With a nationwide network of 6,900 attorneys who average over 19 years of experience, Legal Shield's law firms take over 40,000 calls per week helping their members. For less than $20 per month, you can have access to Legal Shield on everything from the trivial to the traumatic. Let Legal Shield stand up for your rights at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com. Or call 855-340-SAVE, 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
So we decided to upgrade the look of our home.
You know, improve the curb appeal.
We decided to add the look of stone to the exterior.
We really like the stacked stone look.
Yeah, but when I checked into the price, it was ridiculous. No way could we afford it.
Then a friend told me about Genstone. Genstone.
Genstone comes in lightweight panels made of polyurethane. They've actually engineered the hassle out of installation. No mortar, no mesh. It was easy. Even I could do it.
We just screwed the panels to the wall and it looks like stone. I mean, it really looks like stone.
Yeah, from the box to the wall in minutes.
We love the look of our home now.
And Genstone is durable, comes with a 25-year warranty, and offers additional R-value for insulation.
If you want the look of stone at a price you can afford, call Genstone
at 855-955-STONE.
Trust me, you'll save money.
And you'll love the look.
855-955-STONE. That's 855-955-7866.
So before Mrs. Finelli and I were married, we had some goals that we wanted to achieve, and And one of them was that we would have saved $10,000 each. We would own our own cars. We would have our master's degrees. And we achieved those goals. And when we went to buy our first house, we had saved over $10,000 each. And so we had, I guess, almost $30,000 combined. and we were buying a house out of state. So what we did was to have the closing go very smoothly without the banks worrying about an out-of-state check, we just cashed out. And we brought the cash with us to closing in a briefcase. And so we actually did that. And, back then, it was, $30,000 was a lot of money to be in cash. But it wasn't suspect of where'd you get that money, boy? That didn't happen. And no one called the police on us and said, hey, listen, you're not going to believe this, but, we're at a closing and this guy has a briefcase full of cash. Nobody even thought about that because it was just assumed that we earned that money, which we did. So this poor guy that you're talking about, John, it's absolutely over the top. Who do these cops think they are stealing this guy's cash? And that's the problem. These cops think that they're in charge. Well, the only reason they're in charge is because they've got a gun pointed at our face, like in the case of Steve Engel, where he opens his door and there's two cops there and a cop puts a gun in his face, tells him to drop his gun that he's holding in his left hand by the muzzle, and Steve stands there and they beat the tar out of him and put him in the hospital and then jail him for 3 days. And now he's facing maybe 20 years in prison for opening his door to these thug cops. It's out of control, John.
And it's happening here in Texas, too. There's another article that I've entitled The Link, Thou May Not Be Compassionate. It's from San Antonio, where they targeted a chef feeding the homeless with a $2,000 ticket.
Okay, so we have a chef who decides to take it upon himself and not give money to the Catholic Church, the Protestant Church, the Baptist Church, the synagogue. He decides that he's not going to give money. He's going to do it himself. He's going to make sure that 100% of his efforts and the things that he purchases actually go to where he thinks they're going to go, and he gets a ticket for $2,000 for doing the right thing. Is that right?
And but they didn't like that she used a pickup truck to bring the food, like, takeout style, like you would bring food home.
The problem was takeout style?
Using a pickup truck.
All right. Well, all right. Let's take that and let's put an exclamation point on it. One of our instructors' wives, during the Joplin tornado, called a sub shop chain, a small sub shop chain in Springfield, Missouri, let's say less than an hour from Joplin, called and said, hey, Kay, you guys have two stores. I need, I think it was like 150 subs. And she had them made at both of those locations. She picked them up in her Suburban. She and her daughter went to Joplin, and they unloaded them at the shelter where the government was doling out information. And it was the Red Cross that was there, and they would not accept them. The Red Cross said, we can't accept these because we don't know if they're safe. She just had them. All she did was buy them, pay for them. They were wrapped to go. They were in bags from the sub shop directly, and the Red Cross said, we can't trust these. So they packed them back, put them in the Suburban, drove over to the hospital, this makeshift hospital. Makeshift hospital said, okay, we'll take them. Oh, we can't give them to the victims because we don't know if they're safe. So we'll let our staff eat them. Yeah. It's just another example of why the government and these agencies are in the way. Never give any money to any agency. And I suggest you even stop giving money to your church. Do it yourself. Make sure 100% of your efforts, your wealth, your wherewithal that you want to donate goes where you think it's going to go. And the only way you can do that is if you make sure you do it yourself. So here we go. Pull the plug on the church. Pull the plug on the agencies, the Red Cross, multiple sclerosis, Easter seals, all of them. Pull the plug on all of them. and do it yourself. John Regan, I'll be right back. I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available. Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take longevity beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA+. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today.
Hi, this is Steve Sanchez, and based on a recent study, it was found that 57 million Americans had legal issues over the last 12 months, but only 60% of those studied sought out the services of a lawyer. Why? In a nutshell, affordability. Well, my friends at Legal Shield have created a solution that can help you not if, but when you need an attorney. For as little as $17 per month, Legal Shield will provide you unlimited access to qualified attorneys at an accomplished law firm for advice and counsel on legal issues, no matter how serious or trivial. For over 40 years and with 1.4 million families across North America, Legal Shield can help you, the loyal GCN listener. Representatives are standing by now to answer your questions, so call them now at 1-855-340-SAVE. That's 1-855-340-7283, or visit them at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com.
Results will vary from case to case.
You haven't experienced yogurt until you've tried a Mossy, embodying health and flavor in a true whole milk, green-fed dairy beverage. Every sip pays homage to our old world cows and the ancient culturing methods their milk benefits from. With over 30 probiotics, a Mossy's undeniably nutritious, refined, cultured sensation bolsters your health and awakens your passion for dairy. A Mossy's so good, and you need to try it. Contact your Longevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked. Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com. Captain John Regan's with me. Ricky Rocket has a problem with his voice. He's having trouble being heard. Can you imagine that? Ricky Rocket not being able to speak because of a problem with his voice. So Ricky Rocket is not here with us today, but he's fine. It's just his voice is shot. John Regan's with us, Captain John Regan, and I was talking about Mayor Lyle Anderson of Lebanon, Missouri, the mayor who did not take his city manager out to the woodshed for saying, the Constitution of the state of Missouri, well, that's irrelevant. We don't care about that around here. We have our own policies and procedures. He didn't fire the city manager. He didn't. So if you'd like to call the mayor of Lebanon, Missouri, and find out why they decided to kill the Get Prepared Expo with a police presence every day of the expo, setup day, and the 2 following days, police presence, fire trucks, why they had to ruin it. Why did they have to scare our guests away? Why did they have to do that? Literally, 97 one-hour seminars over a 2-day period. That was our 3rd expo in Lebanon, Missouri. The city loves us, but the city government is miserable. And they circle the wagons. They decided they're going to protect this one out-of-control, arrogant cop, this young cop who decides he's going to complain to City Hall about the fact that we didn't want uniformed police patrolling after we consecrated the grounds as sacred. They don't care about treaties with the Native Americans. The city of Lebanon is out of control, and it's off limits to the Finelli family. And I'm not going back. I'm not going back to Lebanon. It's only 20 miles away. I'm not going back to Lebanon. As a matter of fact, John Regan, let me share a story with you. I know some young people, who after school they would go to the McDonald's in Lebanon. There's a McDonald's, a Burger King, and there's Arby's and other fast food joints there. And they'd hang out at the McDonald's parking lot, and they'd buy some fast junk food, right, or fast junk. And as Dr. Shealy might say, well, the police would come and run them out. We can't let them hang around here. Can't let them, pull in and chat, buy some junk. So they'd run them out. So my young friends, whom I know that would go to McDonald's, don't go to McDonald's anymore. Not only don't they go to McDonald's in Lebanon, they don't go to McDonald's because they treat all the McDonald's the same. Well, I mean, it's McDonald's. They ran us out in Lebanon, so why would we go to one in the next town or the next town or the next town? McDonald's is not interested in us, so why should we spend our money there? So what's happening in McDonald's? Their profits are down. Their revenue's down. Good for them. Keep it up. Keep chasing customers away and you'll see what happens. You have fewer customers. John Regan?
Yeah, fewer customers and higher wages. Isn't that a great recipe?
It's a great recipe for disaster. So, is the world going to be okay without McDonald's? Sure. We'll be fine without McDonald's. I mean, if you think about it, McDonald's, how good is whatever McDonald's serves? How good is it? I mean, I'm sure it tastes good. I'm sure they spent a fortune on making it taste good. As a matter of fact, how about that McDonald's hamburger and French fries that's in a museum? It's been there since the 90s, right? It looks just as good today as it did then, except that, the wrapper is slightly discolored, but the hamburger and French fries look the same as they did when they were served. How can that be? Even the mold doesn't want to eat it. Oh man, I can't believe it. There goes another sponsor. It's great having those sponsors. It really is. Because we don't have to be careful with what we say. Okay, so John, what do you have on your agenda for today?
Well, let me just back up for a minute. I've been meaning to talk about this. It was a little bit over a year ago when I first guest hosted USA Prepares, and it was shortly after that I became the regular Monday guest. And I got to looking at all my scheduled appearances, and then you subtract out the number of times I've been on the radio, and I discovered that I've missed a negative number of times.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay. Say this equation just one more time for clarity, please.
Okay. So I'm scheduled to be on the radio on Monday.
Right.
So I take all the Mondays that we were live,
right,
add those up, and I go back and add up all the times that I've been on with the USA Prepares. So I subtracted out to figure out how many times I missed, and it's a negative number.
And class, if you are as fortunate as I am to have a friend like John Regan, you're in great shape. Seriously. John Regan fills in, things go wrong here at USA Prepares. For example, Rick Miller, I called him this morning and his voice was gone. I said, Rick, you okay? He goes, yeah, I'm okay, but I don't have a voice. So I'm trying to figure out, this is like, maybe less than 15 minutes before airtime. I'm trying to figure out how this is going to work. So it's going to be me and Rick doesn't have a voice. So I said, okay. I'll call John Regan, and if he can do it, we're good. And Rick said, he would do it. You just wouldn't be able to hear him. So it'd probably be okay if it were TV, right? But because it's radio, it's really difficult if you can only hear one of us, one side of the conversation. So I called John Regan and I said, "Hey, happy birthday, John. And by the way, 14 minutes from now, we can be on the air." And he said, "Sure." So if you have a friend, as I do, you're John Regan, you're doing very, very, very well. And you're very fortunate. So, John, I want to thank you. I really do. From the bottom of my heart, you have always been there. And your attendance is it's really, it's as high positive as you can get in my book. But in your arithmetic model, it's a negative number, right?
Yeah, kind of like interest rates.
Yeah, I was listening to the news. I was listening to Mrs. Finelli has a satellite receiver. Oh, by the way, Rick Kaler is going to be on with us, and we're going to talk about how you can have your own satellite receiver. You can buy it for $199 and we'll program it. That's on May 5th at 9 o'clock. Rick Kaler, Rick's satellite. And he's one of our instructors. He'll be talking about that. So she was listening yesterday, and I happened to walk into the kitchen, and they're saying that the feds do not want you to have cash because of the negative interest rates. Is going to cost you. It's going to actually, if you put like $100 in, at the end of the year, you'll have less than $100 when the bank is done with you, right? When that happens, negative interest rates, they don't want you putting cash in a safety deposit box. So what they're thinking is that people will say, well, shoot, I'll have less digits in the bank after a year if I don't spend them. So I'll just get the digits out and put them on pieces of paper with, dead presidents and green ink and so forth. And I'll put them in my safety deposit box, but they won't let you do that now either, right?
You shouldn't have, things like that in the safety deposit box anyway.
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, it's insanity. It's insanity, entrusting, your valuables, like, documents that you must keep locked up in a place that you can't get to without the permission of a third party. So, and you pay them to store your stuff where you can't get it 24 hours a day, whenever the heck you want. You have to wait till they're open. You have to wait till they let you in. And then, behind the locks and the gates. And then you can open your box, at their pleasure. Well, it's crazy to do that and to pay them to do that. So I wouldn't have any I don't have a safety deposit box, and I recommend that no one has one. So what you need to do is buy a safe and keep it, concealed, and keep it where the contents won't burn should there be a fire. That's what you should do. And can you buy one? Absolutely. John, I bought a safe, a used safe. Nobody wanted it. It was, let's say 3 feet by 3 feet by 4 feet. It probably weighs 500 pounds. It's got these cast iron wheels. I can't move it. Can't open it. It's fire resistant. And it was probably like $450. It's an antique. It's from the 1900s. I suggest that, and it has a tumbler. I suggest that you all get one and put your stuff in it and bolt it to the floor, or bolt it to a concrete wall, or put it in the basement or something where you can get to it and kind of cover it so you can't really see it. And there it is. Why would you have your personal, private, important valuables entrusted to some organization like a bank? You don't even know those people. What if you had to get it in an emergency and they're closed? Can you call them up and say, well, listen, would you open the bank for me? I really got to get my stuff. You think that would happen? Sundays. You think you'd get it on a Sunday? Forget the bank. And I suggest that you keep cash in hand. What happens if you get arrested? Like my neighbor did. She needed $1,500 to get out of jail. Didn't have it. So she spent like a week in jail for a crime she didn't commit. Yeah. And the deputies or somebody from the sheriff's office planted drugs, with their names under her porch. So she had a vial of pills with one of the employees of the jail under her porch. The sheriff's deputies find it and arrest her. She doesn't even know this person. Safety deposit boxes, I say forget them. Seriously. Boy, Jug, I didn't know you could hit so many buttons so quickly today. All right, I'll tell you what. You take us back after these few short commercial announcements. I'm going to hit the mute button, and I'm going to try to be quiet. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
On the average, Americans work between 45 to 50 years, hoping to build up enough wealth to retire and live out their golden years. Unfortunately, with taxation, the rising cost of food, energy, housing, and medical, many retirees are forced to live below the poverty line. Is this a flaw-free enterprise, or is our monetary unit we call the Federal Reserve Note forcing us into perpetual debt, ensuring inflation and higher taxes? These questions and more can be answered by reading G. Edward Griffin's book, The Creature from Jekyll Island. Congressman Ron Paul states it's what every American needs to know about central bank power, a gripping adventure into the secret world of international banking cartel. Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I will give a silver dollar from the early 1900s to anyone who purchases this book. Call 1-800-686-2237 and order a copy today. It's critical that the public be made aware of the system. Call and order your copy today at 1-800-686-2237. That's 1-800-686-2237.
I'm Vincent Finelli of USAPrepares.com. As most of you know, I broadcast weekday mornings on GCN from 9 to 11. And I'm also a full-time farmer. Add to that mix the weekly meetups and the Get Prepared Expo, and this combination makes for a demanding schedule. On the farm, we raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle and provide them with the best variety of summer and fall grasses available. Our cattle are exposed to the extremes of weather, the toxins in the air, and the electromagnetic radiation that's all around us. So even the best grasses and food that we provide are not enough. Our cattle require minerals and supplements for strong health and resistance to disease. And so do we. For these reasons, my mother, our children, Mrs. Finelli, and I all take Longevity, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, De-Stress, Glucogel, and EFA+. USAPreparesTeam.com. And thank you for being in class today.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at GoBerkey.com. That's GoBerkey.com today.
Hey, John, I wasn't kidding. I thought you were going to bring us back.
I tried.
Oh, okay. All right, bring us back.
Hey, this is John Regan, and this is the part of the show where we play. Let's see how long Vince will stay on mute. I've got a number of articles from last week in the control section we didn't get to. We've got one, how new Fords will make you obey the speed limit. It's one of those nudges to the self-driving car. Of course, they're also going to probably ticket you anytime you go over the speed limit, which can happen quite often. They also want to track your mileage so they can tax you by the mile. And if that's not enough, we've got an 8th grader charged with a felony after changing a teacher's laptop background photo. And it's not a matter of what the photo was, it's a matter of access to the computer. And if that's not enough, we've talked about how the average person commits 2 to 3 felonies a day without realizing it. Well, we've got a dad that is facing felony charges because he brought home an injured 8-inch alligator for his son to nurse back to health. And you can't do that. It's illegal. Vincent?
Okay, so all right, so let's talk about this alligator. We had a story that made the news probably a couple of years ago. This 11-year-old girl was visiting her father. I assume that the mother and father were divorced, and so the mother goes to pick up the daughter at the father's house, and there in the yard is this bird that fell out of a nest, and the cat was looking to eat the bird. So the 11-year-old girl races over, grabs this baby bird that was fell out of the nest, and she puts it in a cage, and is going to take it back to the mom's house for the rest of the week and nurse it back to health. And so they're on the way home, and they stop off. It's a summer day. It's hot. They stop off at a big box store, a home improvement store, and she brings the cage inside the store, and one of these agents of the state government was there and saw the bird and demanded an ID, and so next thing, a week later, the state police and this woman who was with the agency are there, and there's a summons, $540 fine, and potential 1 year in jail for transporting an endangered species, this bird. Well, the girl had nursed this bird back to health. She called, I guess the mother called the government and said, okay, we released the bird. Everybody's happy. And they said, great, that's what you're supposed to do. But now she's facing this fine. Well, I was outraged, and I called, it was in Virginia. I called the local agency, and they said, well, no, nobody here. So I called all the way to the region, and I said, this 11-year-old deserves a plaque. You guys are out of control, over the top, and you want to fine them for doing the right thing. I said, I'm going to talk about you guys. And then they came out with a press release, and they said, before you go on there, just wait, we'll have a press release. And I read on there, and they said that it was an accident. It was a mistake. It never should have happened. It was a clerical error, and they sent the police, and this was a mistake. So that's the full force of the government coming down on someone who did the right thing. And so this was an 11-year-old, and now it looks like they're improving their system, and they're going after 8-year-olds, right? For changing a screen. I mean, really, is that a problem? And then this alligator, nursing it back to health. Isn't that what happened, John?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So the idea is, I guess we let the alligator die, right? Is that the plan?
Only the government can be compassionate.
It's out of control. And so for those of you who want to know why I say the things I do about the government, I mean, really. And by the way, I used to have a boss. who said, Vinny, you don't deal well with stupid people. And you know what? He's right. And nothing's changed. I still don't deal well with stupid people. John Regan, I'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy, or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit GoBerkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products. Most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey guy at GoBerkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey guy.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
If the IRS has garnished your paycheck or seized money from your bank account, you need to get professional tax help now. Fast action is required to put a halt to these aggressive IRS collection tactics. You can count on the knowledgeable team of tax professionals at Wall & Associates. With over 30 years of experience, Wall & Associates has settled the tax problems of thousands of taxpayers for a small fraction of what they owed. For a free face-to-face consultation, call 1-800-425-4610 to put a wall between you and the IRS. 1-800-425-4610 or look for us on the web at wallandassociates.net. We solve tax problems. If you hire Wall & Associates today, you'll never have to talk to the IRS again. To stop the levies and seizures today, take action now. Call Wall & Associates at 1-800-425-4610. Wall & Associates. 1-800-425-4610. Based on actual cases, results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Captain John Regan's with us, thefinancialstateoftheunion.com. Thefinancialstateoftheunion.com. And if you'd like to go to his website and click on the news tab, that's where we usually hang out on Mondays, when Captain John Regan, U.S. Air Force Reserves, retired, his news articles that we discuss here at USA Prepares are, that's thefinancialstateoftheunion.com. Click on the news tab. Sherry from Kansas, you're on with Captain John Regan and me. Welcome.
Hey. Good morning, gentlemen. The deal about negative interest rates made me think of, I've studied some different ideas for local currencies. And there was a gentleman named Silvio Giselle, or Giselle, it's G-E-S-E-L-L. Is either one of you familiar with something called stamp script?
John?
Can't say that I am.
Pardon? Well, he was a businessman, and he served briefly for the Bavarian government between the First and Second World Wars, but he also did a lot of business in South America. And his idea was for a local currency, and there were some places that tried this in the German area, that area after the First World War, when they were screwing those people so bad. But it's a local currency that actually has a demurrage on it that, it decreases just slightly in value if you don't keep it in circulation. And it was called stamp script. And, there was a good theory behind it, and it's kind of hard for me to explain, but when you think about it, money is supposed to represent value and goods, but where the goods, especially a food product, but other things too, if you don't store them right, they will, either get buggy or get moldy or something like that. Same thing with, clothes. If you don't store them right, they could get moldy or stuff. And but it's not right that money that he had some really good ideas when it came to the logic of interest. But anyway, I encourage you to, if they're going to charge us negative interest rates, we might as well all start our own stamp script locally and at least have some, relief from it. But it's, his name was Silvio, G-E-S-E-L-L.
Okay, I'm going to go look him up. But, Sherry, have you heard the term Notgeld, N-O-T-G-E-L, N-O-T-G-E-L-D, Notgeld, not gold? Have you heard that term?
No. What is that?
Okay. World War I, there was, inflation was, raging out of control. And so in Germany, there were, the local, we'll call them communities, issued their own trading pieces of paper. And it was not gold. It was not money. It was emergency, currency, if you will. And it was local. And it looks like carnival money. It looks like, artistic, little piece of paper the size of Monopoly money. And it was used. And we have some examples of that here at the farm that we bought many, many years ago. And it was, usually on paper, but there were some coins in leather and silk and postage stamps and aluminum foil. I mean, all kinds of things were being used for trading purposes. And what we can do, if we want, is we can use something that's already there, and that would be gold and silver. And so I highly recommend silver, and it's got value right now. It's going to continue to have value. It'll probably purchase pretty much what it used to, throughout its.
Yes, but that could be hoarded.
Yeah, and what's wrong with that?
Well, and it is in short supply. So
yeah, but what's wrong? What's wrong with that, Sherry? So for example, let's say you're a saver. Let's say you're thrifty. Let's say you don't waste anything. You use paper towels as long as you can. And when you're done with that, use them to check the oil or clean up, a grease spill. And then, when it's at that point, you put it in the fire to, for the BTU energy to heat your home. So, let's say you are that thrifty and you don't waste anything and you've been able to accumulate.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, I'm saying, but it's just that there's going to be people that all they've got to trade is their skill, their labor, and maybe what they can produce from the land.
And Miles,
but I think the colonists got screwed, with in the early part of our country, and even before the United States was made a country, they were screwing the producers, and they always screw the producers, the farmers. I mean, that's the history of farming throughout ages.
Yeah, and the Indians. Let's get them too. Well, Sherry, one of our instructors lives in the European Union. His name is Miles, Miles. And Miles is a farmer, lives on a farm, and he and his neighbors have gotten together and they work together. So they have like an hour bank where you put time in and you work for each other. You help each other. So if you're a doctor or you're a farmer or you're a maintenance person, an hour is worth an hour. So a doctor's hour is worth the same as anybody else's hour. Okay. And so you put in an hour and you can draw out an hour of somebody else's time. And it's great. And everybody, their time is worth the same amount. And it should be, because if you think about it, we all have hours, but they're not replaceable. So a doctor's hour in his life is just as valuable as anybody else's hour, because once you spend it, it's gone and you can't get it back. So that's what they do. And it's a great way of going. I love it.
Well, it's that, but I can see where if somebody who's accumulated a lot of tools to do something faster, I think gosh, I'd hate to have to use a hammer all the time instead of an air gun, and things like that. I could see where people have accumulated their tools. They should get a little bit more. Now, doctors and lawyers, I don't think they should get more. I just like.
Did you say lawyers? Lawyers, I think. How much time is their? How much is their time worth? You're talking about negative interest rates again.
There you go. I worked at a car repair shop in the office, and the ones that balked at the labor rate, and guys that work on cars, they go to the school of hard knocks just because they can do a training a lot faster because they've learned how to do it faster. Doesn't mean they shouldn't get paid for if it's a 4.5 hour job on a front wheel drive car, they should get that, but the doctors and the lawyers were usually the ones that balked at that price,
Sherry, I had a company back in Virginia, and a lawyer came in and he wanted us to build a network for him. And I said, he wanted to buy some computers and he wanted us to network it and configure it and train. And I mean, it was a nice project, right? In terms of our company side. And I told him that we have a policy. We don't sell computers to lawyers. He thought I was kidding. I said, no, I'm not kidding. No, we have a policy. And he's like, why? I said, well, lawyers are people who are naturally inclined to argue, and then they go to school to enhance it. And I said, and probably, they'd find all kinds of reasons why they weren't happy with whatever we did. So we're just gonna prevent all that. And I said, by the way, Sears sells computers, and back then they did. So, yeah, it's tough to wanna be involved with lawyers. Really, it is.
Well, if you have anybody in your repertoire of instructors, maybe a few that can talk and have a regular deal about the ins and outs of starting your own local currency, because You know, some of them are based on computers.
Okay, I got to tell you, I'm not up for using computers to create currency. I'm not up for it. Unless I'm really not. I mean, tracking it's one thing, but having a computer developed ether based conceptual currency, I'm not up for that. I'm really not, because take away the electrons and that disappears.
Right. And that's
now in terms of a work bank, in terms of tracking, using a computer to track, a work bank and having backup paper documents, that's different. I'm not opposed to that. But what I am opposed to is a form of electronic currency that can evaporate at any second. An EMP could take that away and we could say, oh man, I have no idea what you have in the bank. Prove it. Now, Sherry, it's up to you to prove what you had in the bank. I'm not up for that.
Right.
John Regan, what are your thoughts?
Well, the thing is, if we end up down that path where we end up with a technological police state, you're not going to have the option of having your own currencies or bartering. You're going to be living in such a controlled state. Now, if we end up down the other scenarios where that technology goes away, then you have considerations on what do you want to use as currency.
Yeah, Sherry, what he's talking about is the coming police state.
Well,
it's out of control.
There's so many more of that. I don't think it can get to there unless they just eliminate a lot of it.
Well, Sherry, there's a whole bunch of us who are weak. Absolutely weak. As a matter of fact, when I was talking with the cops, you know what? Not one person came to my rescue. Not one. We'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
By now, you may have heard a bit about Bitcoins. But did you know Bitcoins are now over an $8.5 billion market? And did you know that over 65,000 businesses now accept Bitcoins? Listen, if you're already earning Bitcoins or trying to make money in the Bitcoin market, you've got to know bidbit.co. Why? Because bidbit.co is where you can easily receive Bitcoins by selling and auctioning off your own personal items or promote business products and services for Bitcoins. You heard right. Whether personal or business, you can now buy, sell, and auction your products and services quickly, easily, and securely for Bitcoin at bidbit.co, the first and only marketplace website to offer BidBit Escrow, a proprietary technology which gives buyers and sellers security and peace of mind because all transactions are protected. Start today. It's free to join, free to post, free to auction, and free to bid at bidbit.co. Buy, sell, bid, or auction everything Bitcoin. That's www.bidbit.co, bidbit.co.
Did you know that drinking pure, high alkaline water is one of the most important factors in maintaining high energy and vibrant health? Most experts agree that the water you drink should be at a pH level of 8 or higher. AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops, available only at alkavision.com, combine a unique formula of only the most alkaline minerals. AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops alkalize your water, ridding the body of harmful toxins, and helps you regain health and energy. Alkalizing your water by simply adding 10 drops of AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops helps the body rid itself of acidic waste, increases oxygen content, and raises the pH of your body to healthy levels. And bacteria and viruses cannot survive in an alkaline high pH environment. Order your bottle of AlkaVision Plasma pH Drops for only $29.95 at alkavision.com. That's ALKAvision.com. Or call 269-409-1776. 269-409-1776. Alkalize your body. Supercharge your health at alkavision.com today.
Captain John Regan's with us. And Sherry, did you have something else that you wanted to say?
Well, I wanted to recommend someone you could maybe interview. His book I've got.
We know the guy. We know the guy. His name is Miles. Okay, and Miles. He is in the European Union. Yeah. I'll be chatting with him, I'm sure this week. We'll get together and I'll ask him if he can come and discuss that. But he's in the European Union. He's about 7 hours offset from us. But I'll chat with him. And
another gentleman here in the States that's written about a lot of different, he's investigated a lot of different local currencies, and it's Thomas H. Greco Jr. And
how do you spell his last name?
Greco. You can actually find part of this book of his on money in a PDF file on the internet. But he's
I'll look him up.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Vince. Bye.
Hey, thank you so much. John Regan, we've got a couple more minutes to share some of the economic news, if you'd like.
Well, I thought back up to, the number crunching I did on USA Prepares. I happen to notice there's another regular that's missed a number of times over the last year, sometimes with some very, very suspicious excuses like, John, my studio's blown up.
You're not going to buy that, are you? Hey, you're talking about me, aren't you?
I'm not mentioning any names.
You know those? Okay. All right. Well, you can. Literally, we had 2 explosions in the studios. I mean, literally. I had the battery bank here with the uninterruptible power. And literally there was 2 separate explosions months apart. Battery acid vaporized all over the studio. I had to scrub it down, baking soda and, a respirator and boots and goggles and, wash the clothes immediately. Absolutely. Scrub down the studio. No question about it. 2 large explosions with Walmart brand marine batteries. And if you want, you can go to the internet and look up Walmart marine battery explosion or marine battery explosion, and you'll see. I'll just do it right now. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it looks just like that. Okay, just go to, let me click on images. Yeah, there you go. Just look up marine battery explosion. Okay, and what you'll see is the cases, and click on images. You'll see the cases blown apart. Okay, just like what happened in my studio. You'll see these batteries with the tops blown off. I'm not talking about the caps. I'm talking about the tops of the batteries blown out, the acid gone, vaporized all over. I mean, that's what happened. So that was one of my excuses. Let's see. Another one was I went to the National Association of Broadcasters. I did that. Something I wanted to do. I wanted to meet some broadcasters. I didn't meet a single one. But I did learn about some equipment, and, we built our own studio here at the farm. We have a full-fledged radio studio that I built out of all kinds of used stuff. Everything's used. I mean, there's nothing that I have in the studio that's new. Nothing. Well, actually, there's one thing. A Comrex communications box, because I couldn't find one used. Other than that, everything's used. Let's see, what else? What else did I miss, John?
Well, there's been
the internet went down. The internet went down. Yeah, that's true. I had the guy stomping around, digging up the cable. That's true. That was another one. But generally, I don't. I try really hard not to miss broadcasts. I really try not to. I'm not in the negative numbers like you are, but I try hard. So if you have any recommendations for being on duty more, I'd love to hear them. I really would. John Regan, hey, thanks so much for being with us. I wish you a very happy 29th anniversary of your 29th birthday. I trust you and your lovely wife are going to be spending some time together. And I hope you have a lot of fun. And I'll see you on Monday, right? Right. Captain John Regan will be back on Monday. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you.
You pick up the receiver with your heart racing and sweat dripping from your forehead. You finally muster the courage to dial the number to call into your favorite talk radio show. It rings once, twice, and then...
Hello, it's GCN. What's your name and the state you're calling from?
Surprised you got through, you squeak out.
Jason from Minnesota.
Please hold.
As you patiently wait for your turn, you begin to daydream about being a famous talk radio host and what it would be like to have your own show.
Jason from Minnesota, you're up.
Millions of loyal listeners worldwide waiting to call and talk to you.
Caller, are you there?
Cheering crowds surround you, calling out your name.
Jason! Jason! Going once, twice. Okay, we gotta move on to the next caller.
You blew it.
Huh? Wait, no!
Interact with the host you're listening to right now, online at gcnlive.com. Click on the community link. Engage with other listeners. Ask questions. Start debates. Don't agree with the host? Let them know. Be a part of the community at gcnlive.com.
If you constantly feel run down and tired, your pH level might be low, and your body could be full of toxins. If what you drink is not at a pH level of 8 or higher, you are inviting bacteria and acid to thrive in your body. But there is something you can do. Simply add 10 drops of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops to your water to help your body rid itself of acidic waste, increase oxygen, and raise your pH balance to optimum levels. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops combine a unique formula of the most alkaline minerals in the world, alkalizing the water you drink, ridding your body of acidic waste and toxins, and helping you regain energy and vibrant health. And studies show viruses, bacteria, and toxins cannot survive in an alkaline, high pH environment. Order your bottle of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops at alkavision.com. That's ALKA vision.com. Or call 269-409-1776. 269-409-1776. Alkalize your body. Supercharge your health at alkavision.com today.